In this video, we're going to find least common multiple. So in math, least means lowest or smallest. Common in math means alike. So what two numbers have in common or what they share. And then multiples are the numbers that other numbers will divide into. So if we skip counted by a number, we would be listing the multiples of that number. So let's start with number 1. We're going to find the least common multiple or lowest common multiple of 6 and 9. So what we want to start out with is we want to start out with listing multiples of each number. So I'm going to list the multiples of 6 first. And all I have to do is just basically skip count by 6 or list 6 times 1, 6 times 2, and so on. So the first multiple of a number is always going to be that number itself. And then the second number, of course, is going to be 6 times 2, or if I skip count by 6s, I would have 12, and then 18, and then 24. And you can usually list about the first 4 or 5. So I'm going to list one more. I'm going to list 30. And then I need to list the multiples of 9. And then what we're going to do is that, and then we're going to look and see what the lowest one that they have in common is. So again, the first multiple is always the number itself. So 9 times 1, 9 times 2 is 18. 9 times 3 is 27. And I could keep going, but I see that I already have a multiple in common, and that is 18. And so once I get to a multiple that they have in common, I can stop, because unlike greatest common factor, this is the lowest number that they have in common. So once I get to one that's alike, I can stop. So the LCM of 6 and 9 is 18. So that is the lowest number that both of them will divide in. Let's look at 4 and 10. So I'm going to list the multiples of 4. First one is always the number itself, and then just skip count by 4s. And I'll go to the 5th one. Multiples of 10, skip count by 10. And I already have one that they have in common, 20. So I'm going to stop there. So the LCM of 4 and 10 is going to be 20. That's the lowest number that both of them will divide into. Okay, so for number 3, I have 4 numbers that I'm going to list multiples for. I'm going to start with 4. I already did 4 over here, so I'm just going to copy what I had. 4, 8, 12, 16, and 20. And we'll see if that ends up being enough. And then let's do 6. We already did 6 up here, so we'll just copy what we had for 6. 6, 12, 18, 24, and 30. So if we were doing just 4 and 12, 4 and 6, sorry, we would have 12 as the least common multiple. But we have another number, 12, to look at. So let's do the 12. Let's count by 12s. Well, as soon as I have the first one, I have the least common multiple for these 3 numbers as being 12. So I can stop there. So the LCM for 4, 6, and 12 would be 12. Now, if this had been a different number, if this had been 20, for example, I would have wanted to keep going and extend this out until I got to a number that they all 3 had in common. So that's least common multiple.